live, huh? Let's do this. See, my computer has too much stuff up. I can't see the corners.
We go hard all day, all night. On my proud son of people who be ready to fight. Say yeah.
Yes.
They really do have badass theme music.
They do. I feel for these guys because they're not. They aren't really being used to their full potential. I can.
All right, wait, hold on. You know what?
Their frustration.
Hold on, I'll say this though. I'm starting to think it's all the work from the beginning.
You think so?
I think it's all a work. I think they're using the AEW thing as a work. I really do.
Oh, like to get a better deal on their contract or something?
The Revival is going to get the tag team titles. This is what it's shaping. And I said it weeks ago, if you guys go back, I said this is all shaping up to be the Revival is gonna get the big one in the end. This is all working. You know, they're getting the shit, but it's working them to get the tag belts.
That's what it seemed like the storyline was going toward.
Well, right, but then everyone started saying, well, they threatened that they want to quit, that they want to leave and go to AEW, so now Vince is going to push them and put the belts on them. Vince doesn't operate. Like, the more I think about it, the Revival wants to go, then go.
Yeah.
Vince has tons more teams or guys that he could potentially put together and make a phenomenal team. He doesn't need the Revival.
Yeah.
The Revival's fantastic, but you know, it's like I think about back in the day with the Ultimate Warrior. You remember that story at WrestleMania?
Where he held Vince up for that money.
Right before he was supposed to go out the curtain. Oh, yeah. Well, right before he was going out the curtain and Vince had been promoting it's WrestleMania, he said either you pay me X or I don't go out. So Vince pinned against the corner. It's WrestleMania. He says, fine. He sends him out. He pays him the money. He says, get the fuck out. You're fired. You know what I mean? And that was the Ultimate Warrior. This is the Revival. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love the Revival. They are talented. And I really am happy that I think it's really going to go to them winning the tag gold, but they're not the Ultimate Warrior. You know what I mean? To me, I think it's all a work. I think it's all story. Look at Dolph Ziggler. He had already signed the contract, and they were doing this whole thing. Oh, I'm not booked. I'm not in the area. I'm not going this and that.
I don't get the Dolph Ziggler thing. I don't understand his whole. I don't know.
I don't either.
Everything about Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, we could spend a whole show. There could be just a whole show one day called the Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about Dolph Ziggler. And I don't know if we'd ever come to a resolution.
Dolph Ziggler, and why does he do the things he does?
Yes.
Well, you know what? It's just they have screwed up for so long with Dolph Ziggler, and I get it. You know, they finally gave him the run. He got injured, and then he was labeled injury prone, and he just never made it back to that.
He got kicked in the head by Alberto Del Rio and got a concussion, but he's injured.
Right. You're right. And that was it. He never was given that opportunity to get back up there. And, you know, I mean, I still think about, you know, you think about Pops and, you know, there have been times where the buildings erupt. You know, I always erupt to Bobby Roode. It's glorious.
Yeah. I know, right? It was just auto-playing. It was just auto-playing the next song.
But, you know, it's like when Dolph cashed in and won the title.
Oh,
I mean,
that
goes down in top 5 loudest pops in history. And that's not enough to say, listen, we got to give him another shot. He is so talented and so good in that ring. He sells better than anybody. And he can talk, and he can do it both. He can be heel, he can be face. He's proven it time and time again. At this point, I think it's silly that he resigned. I think his best shot would be to call Cody and say, I want in. I want to be all in.
Because I don't know if – here's the deal. I don't know if these are his ideas that they're incorporating into the booking or if this is just the ideas that creative has for him. But either way, they don't – whatever their intended reaction or response is supposed to be, it doesn't happen. Like when Dolph won the U.S. title and then gave it up and left. and then just showed up like a couple weeks later at the Royal Rumble. And that's a year ago, going on a year ago, over a year ago. That didn't make sense. And just, I don't know. Like you said, he's the guy that can do it all. He can be babyface, he can be heel. He's got all these, moveset. What are they doing to help, aside from the fact they're paying him very well, what are they doing to keep a talent like that?
Well, the money they're throwing at him seems
yes, it's the money. Really, it's the money. It's definitely.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, and we say it all the time, your goal when you're in this business is the WWE. I mean, you can always look at Zack Ryder. How many times did he wrestle in 2018 on TV? Once, twice, I think, for the whole year. He's still hanging around because at the end of the day, he's getting a paycheck to show up, just in case. And they're using him at house shows and this and that.
He was on Raw for like 2 minutes.
Well, right, but look what they're doing. They're putting him back with, it's going to be very short-lived. This thing is not going to, I mean, they had an opportunity with Zack Ryder when he made himself with the whole YouTube thing. And he got everybody behind him without WWE pushing him. And they didn't capitalize on it.
Well, he unfortunately hit that at the wrong time
because he was all John Cena.
Well, also because with the whole YouTube thing at the time, WWE didn't understand it. They didn't get what to do with YouTube. Now you look at a guy like Xavier Woods, he's got his own YouTube channel, millions of subscribers, and the WWE helps to promote that page, and they have some kind of financial stake in it. It's technically a separate business or a separate channel from WWE.
Right.
But he put it in, he put the work in, and they're supporting it. Mandy and who is it? Dandy's Donuts. There's two of the girls have a donut review channel.
Sonya Deville.
Yeah. And then Braun Strowman has his channel where he reviews guns, monster arms. Sheamus has his own workout channel.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah. Seth and Becky and somebody else are starting their own
CrossFit.
Yeah, like CrossFit channel and gym and the whole deal. So
if it's not CrossFit Jesus, I will be very disappointed.
I know that should be like if everybody has a nickname like Xavier has them do.
You're right though. A lot of them are doing the channels, and a lot of them like even workout videos and stuff. It's like workout like Seth Rollins or workout like Charlotte Flair, and it's pretty cool because not for nothing. Even if you want to just hit the gym, at least it's something that
motivates you. Yeah. If you can't
totally
do their workouts, they could still be motivating you to go in and do the workouts that you can handle.
Oh yeah, because don't get it twisted. Some of the stuff they do, I mean, you ain't doing for a while.
I know.
Especially your first time out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna pull something. But he was he was almost just too ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? He saw something in this YouTube idea, and they just didn't understand it at the time. And if it was now, or even a few years later than what he did, they wouldn't have had it be on their, because the thing that fucked it up was they transferred it from his YouTube channel to the WWE's YouTube channel,
right?
And then they wanted the WWE's writers to be involved, or they wanted to at least have approval from the WWE before posting the skits, and that was the whole thing. Was like he was posting jokes about how he couldn't get over, or how he was trying to learn how to draw money, so he'd take a crayon and draw a dollar bill.
Yeah,
like that was the idea. Was it was subversive? So how is it going to be subversive if all of the shit's being run by the WWE writers?
Well, and he was smart enough to say no. Like, this is not going down this way, and that's when he came up with the Internet Championship, the Bro. I mean, it was fun and it was great. The videos were great. His dad was in a bunch of them with him. It was just, but it was something different. It got him noticed, and it got people saying, dude, what the hell? Like, get him on TV. And they did. They just, like everything else, man.
I don't think they like that he got over by himself.
They don't.
100%. Agreed. 100%, Eric. Nail in the coffin.
By the way, Steve, Steve, do you remember when I answered the door that one time as Zack Ryder? I was dressed as Zack Ryder. You guys came for WrestleMania.
Oh, yes. That was hilarious. Yes, I do remember that.
Door swings open, and I'm going like this with the whole outfit on.
Oh boy,
that was very funny.
They did give him a push. It just was a push in the wheelchair.
Yeah, it was off the stage. I was going to say that was whenever I think of Zack Ryder's big run, I think of Kane nearly murdering him.
Yeah, and then he looked like a cuck. With the whole John Cena thing.
I love it.
Basically,
he did. Yes, John Cena cuckolded our man Zack
Hey,
Ryder.
I want to I want to kind of shift a little bit. Listen, one thing that we've been talking about for the last probably month or so, right? We've been talking about Finn Balor and how everything we've been hearing is that he's going to be in for this monster push, and then things started to happen, and we said, okay, well, maybe they're standing by that. And then Finn got to face Brock. We all knew if he wasn't Demon, he wasn't winning the title. Okay, fine. They've still been pushing him. Now, this is the latest I've been hearing, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too. And we definitely need to talk a little bit about this, because if this is WWE's idea of a push, then we have a serious problem, because I'm hearing they're going to move Finn to 205 Live and make him a cruiserweight.
What?
Okay, so I'm the only one that's been hearing this.
I haven't heard this.
I haven't heard it.
Why don't they just shoot him in the head on live television?
I mean, if you're gonna, if what?
He'd be better off going back to NXT.
He'd be better off going to AEW.
Yeah, he'd be better off going back to Japan or fucking anywhere.
Yeah, Kenny Omega to come in and do that for.
Yeah,
I seriously hope it's a rumor. I hope it's not true, but if it is, come on,
That's
seriously.
terrible. Because look how much exposure Mustafa Ali has gotten since he got to SmackDown.
Oh, 100%. Great example. I love that guy.
Love.
Yeah,
love.
Vince McMahon finally realized he needed to have a brown wrestler be popular. He's like, God damn it, this guy.
Hey, what I mean? Because I worry about guys like Ricochet when they come up.
Oh,
Ricochet's a beast.
But Ricochet is so talented that there's no way they can possibly.
Yeah, I think Vince McMahon always gets big plans in his head for certain guys and then realizes they're 5'2".
Yeah.
Like Finn Balor, I don't know how tall he is in real life, but you put him up against anybody else on the roster, and I can see why in his head Vince would go, that guy's a cruiserweight, which he is technically. When if you were to put him on a scale, sure.
He's got like better abs than everybody.
Oh my Jesus! Him and Tony Nese, you can scrape cheese off of those things.
It's like a xylophone.
Yeah, like in the old cartoons, they play the xylophone and the skeletons. But no, I can see why you'd think he's a cruiserweight. But the whole idea, usually, even going as far back as WCW, was if you were a cruiserweight, you started there, you wrestled there for a year or 2 years, whatever it was, and then you went and won the U.S. title or the TV title, and then maybe you'd work your way up to the world title. You didn't go back down to cruise. Nobody ever went like Billy Kidman, isn't it? Billy Kidman or Chris Jericho.
Jericho's a great.
Right, exactly. So, guys, they didn't go back down to cruiserweight after they won like the TV championship or the U.S. championship. So this guy's been Universal champion for 20 minutes, and he's been Intercontinental champion. Everything else, he's gonna go. Like that's a demotion. People would see that as, oh man, what did he do wrong? Did he piss somebody off? Was he not doing well? So they sent him back down to 205 Live. And no offense to the guys in 205 Live, the guys on the show work very hard. They put on very good matches. Nobody sees them.
That's the problem. Well, but that's why I think they need to get rid of the whole 205 Live thing. And they need to just have them, be a division on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And just do it that way like WCW used to do.
And have the women's tag team on SmackDown.
Yeah, I was, I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan, because I was thinking about the old SmackDown versus Raw games. And when you play general manager mode, like heads up, Raw versus SmackDown. And I think it was SmackDown. The cruiserweights were like exclusive to SmackDown. But
I remember.
The women's division was exclusive to Raw. So you could have women's wrestlers on SmackDown, but they couldn't win the women's title. And you could have cruiserweights on Raw, but they couldn't win the cruiserweight title because it was exclusive to those brands. I'm not saying maybe that, that they should do that hard and fast, but I agree that something needs to be done to promote these guys. You're paying them. They're going out. They're working their asses off. Give them.
Might as well, right?
I don't understand what stopped. They used to give them time during the middle of Raw to like feature the stories.
Yeah.
And try and encourage people to watch on the network, the 205 regular programming. I don't know why they stopped doing that. And I agree with Steve. If you're not going to promote them on the main show to get people to watch the streaming show, nobody's going to watch the streaming show. Excuse me. So fold the streaming show back into the main
shows.
Or do it on, I mean, I don't give a shit. How about the Cruiserweight Championship is not exclusive to any brand. Yeah. And you can go defend it at NXT, or you could go defend it in SmackDown or Raw. And like on a takeover one day, in addition to the North American title and the women's title and the world title, the Cruiserweight title is defended there. And one of the NXT guys challenges the Cruiserweight title holder. And then you
just have them pop up and don't announce the match.
Yeah, or somebody comes out like when they did that with was it Jordan Devlin and Finn Balor and the NXT, the UK takeover, or you could do on NXT television a tournament where the winner, or a battle royal or whatever the hell you want, the winner gets a 205 Live championship opportunity, since they don't say title shot anymore.
Yeah,
and then you promote that for your takeover. You're gonna have a cruiserweight championship match. It's something. Give these guys something to do. And there's guys in NXT who you don't want challenging for the North American title, and you don't want challenging for the world title, because these are all kind of wrapped up in the same story. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, whatever. Yeah. If there was another, and it doesn't have to be permanent. You come down, you work the takeover, you go back up. It just, you've got all this talent.
New faces, new opponents, new matches.
Right, it mixes things up, and maybe you find a guy like a Mustafa Ali, where you're like, oh shit, that guy's really. How about Humberto Carrillo? Everybody loves that guy on NXT now. And he's only had a couple matches, but they see something in him.
Yeah.
And it's like little things like that you're going to discover if you give people chances. Yeah. It's not going to be every one. You're not going to hit a hole-in-one every time or a home run every time. But if you give people chances, they want to succeed, they work for you, they're going to work hard, give them the shot.
And you'll see if they're not going to work hard and succeed.
Right, you see how they respond to it, because you could have somebody, unfortunately, like Lars Sullivan, who doesn't respond to the pressure as well as other people.
Any update on him? Has anyone heard anything?
Other than the rumor that he faked it to get out of a drug test.
I haven't heard that one.
I didn't hear that.
That's new. I just heard like last I heard, good old Tuna Meltzer was like, no, he's still at
Tuna
home.
Meltzer.
That'll be in your next cookbook, Eric. You can make a Tuna Meltzer.
Ryan, is that reputable or
just rumor kicking around? No actual names to it.
He tweeted something like a couple weeks ago, but it wasn't him. He said it was like somebody on behalf of him and blah, 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 blah. And now I just went on his account and it's protected tweets.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
that isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda is our social media spy.
Guru.
Because, she's the one that pokes around, and she found out that one of the only tweets left when Bray Wyatt deleted all of the tweets on his account was an old picture of me dressed like Bray Wyatt for Hawaiian Shirt Day at my old work from literally like 7 years ago. So that was.
If you want to find out something about anybody, you just put me in charge. I'll find it in about an hour.
I was saying this the other day to a friend. There should be a company where people like you who are good at this stuff, like catfish for profit, not in like a mean way, not in like trying to get somebody in a relationship to extort money, but like be like a private investigator. Create a fake profile. What was that?
I would love to be a private investigator.
See, so you could be like a social media private PI. Like you create a fake profile, get the person to start messaging you, find out what you need to find out, report back to their spouse or whatever it is. I think you could do it. Like there's a market. If anybody's listening, there's a market.
Yeah,
contact me.
Definitely a market.
But the last I heard was just, he was still at home. It's looking less and less likely that he's going to do the John Cena match, but I think they still want to bring him back in and try something. I mean, he's your employee. You don't just want to drop him. You invested a lot of TV time into him on NXT. He's been training there for a couple years now. Him, Braun, and Finn all kind of started around the same time, and you see where Braun and Finn are. You're hoping you can get that guy caught up, not exactly to their level, but at least caught up maybe to the main roster.
I had heard also that he was supposed to be with Daniel Bryan, but then since he dropped out, then they brought in Eric Rowan.
I feel like
I heard that too, actually,
as like the muscle.
But Eric Rowan has the. I mean, if you're gonna do that environmentalist thing, I feel like Eric Rowan has a better look for it than Lars Sullivan.
Yeah,
Lars
if they were
Sullivan,
going for like an intellectual thing, then there was Sullivan because he was like this big dude with intelligence or something.
Hey,
That's
Eric Rowan was a vintner. He had his own vineyard and made his own wine. So
that's true. That fits right in with Daniel Bryan. Then.
For the 2 weeks that they decided he was like some kind of super genius and could solve Rubik's cubes and stuff, and then he went back to wearing overalls and carrying.
Well, it's like remember the Brian Kendrick when he was with Ezekiel Jackson, and he'd be in the background reading like books and shit.
They never know how to portray somebody as smart on these shows, and I'm not sure why that is. But you know what they do well is crazy people.
Yeah.
Last night on Raw,
Nikki Cross and Alicia
Fox is the whole Crazy Like a Fox team, which I hope that's what they call them.
Yeah.
Crazy Like a Fox would be great.
I don't think that's lasting, honestly.
But it's not bad.
It's definitely not lasting because if you watched at the end of the match when the match was over, Alicia was blaming Nikki Cross for the. So that's probably going to set up a,
I mean, realistically, it's probably a good thing for Nikki. But I think there was just a lot of potential for more shenanigans with those two.
But if anyone can out crazy Alicia Fox, it's Nikki Cross.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a great idea to put them together. That's
that was a good little idea. How about Heavy Machinery getting 2 different title opportunities on Raw and SmackDown?
Why do we have different brands then? What the fuck? I'm saying, get rid of it. And the brand split. It's fucking stupid.
Well, they're clearly not going to because I think now they're talking about doing another shakeup. So
yep. Yeah, the international shake.
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
Because it's going to be in Canada.
Everyone shows up on each other's shows anyway. What's the fucking difference?
See, now that's the truth, though. I mean, if they're going to continue to do that, then why bother? I mean, Eric is right. Why bother at that point? It makes no sense.
I mean, I get the whole thing where they're not quite on Raw or SmackDown yet. They're still trying to figure out where they're putting.
Right.
Come on.
And I guess we still don't know about EC3.
Well, so let's talk about
one
EC3
or two for that matter.
Can I just
that
say
was wonderful.
The segment was great. I think for his debut match on Raw, the match was weak as hell. And I did not like the finish either. That's just my opinion. I thought the whole thing was weak. I was very disappointed. And I'm a big fan of EC3. I'm not saying it was his fault either. It was just the whole thing. I don't know. His first match shouldn't have been against Dean. I don't know. The whole thing just didn't.
And they couldn't have built this up for the Chamber in a few weeks?
No, of course not, because they needed to do that on Raw for some reason. I felt like that's so Raven. I had a vision of the future. As soon as I saw EC3 and Dean Ambrose on the stage together, I did all the math in my head about Dean Ambrose leaving this and the other thing. I'm like, he's just going to fucking roll him up and get a 3 count and then run out of the ring. And it fucking happened exactly as I saw it in my mind. It just came to be on my television. And I was like, oh, this is going to be Dean Ambrose's life for the next 2 months.
What happened to EC1 and EC2?
That was
a great line.
That was the line of the show. Oh, but EC3 so far has said 0 words.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He still hasn't said anything.
No, he like mouthed the words to his theme song, and then
which he does in the video game, by the way. If you watch,
that's also pretty great.
It's hilarious.
And then Alexa Bliss started talking about how big his dick is.
Yeah.
That's always great.
She definitely did.
He's got a big, thick, throbbing bank account. or something like that. I don't know.
Big, thick, throbbing baby bank account.
Yeah, she wasn't subtle about it at all.
They're kind of, it seemed to me like, number one, they're teasing a Bliss face turn, and they're also teasing a little maybe her and EC3 action, which could be kind of interesting, although everyone knows she's engaged or married or whatever.
Poor Buddy Murphy.
I'll say this, though. You know, one other thing. I just, what the fuck is going on lately? I mean, if you think about the last few weeks, it appears that Rusev now went back to being a heel. Elias went back to being a heel.
Yep. Dean Ambrose went back to being a babyface.
Now Alexa Bliss is turning face. Dean Ambrose, I'm hearing they may go back to babyface. Why bother? Don't know. I don't know. What's going on?
I've heard that because the ratings are down, they're just going to try. They're literally, the report that I read said, expect them to try
anything that works,
like new things and like things that they wouldn't have tried previously. So this is all. They're diving into new territory here. They might, some stuff might work, some stuff might not.
They put shit on a spinny board and then throw a dart at it, wherever the dart lands.
And somehow they determine that Nia Jax and Tamina, which is a great pairing because they're two big Samoan broads that stink at wrestling and drop people on their heads. And I mean, that's not necessarily a gimmick, but it is what it is.
I don't think Nia is that terrible.
But they are charisma vacuums. They bring back Afa to chew on chicken bones and cut promos for him. I don't know. They need something because whenever Nia speaks, my eardrums leak out the side of my head.
But why? She sounds so amazing.
Guys, I'm so big and tough. I'm 400 pounds, but
don't fat shame me.
Yeah,
805 ounces.
She sounds like Alicia Silverstone from Clueless. And it just does. It's like when you hear Mike Tyson talk. Mike Tyson should have a tougher voice. Nia Jax should have a tougher. They need to do what they did with Nails. Just put that shit on her voice. So every time she talks, she's like this. Well, who's the boss now, boss man? Yeah.
I want to talk about Halftime Heat.
Ooh, that was a good show.
Match.
That was fantastic. Shit. Fantastic.
Like, one of the entrances was better than the entire Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl stunk.
That was the most boring Super Bowl in history.
Football. I don't even know football. That was terrible.
Yeah, I apologize, Amanda. Usually we represent better than that to our foreign friends. I can't say that's necessarily true, but at least in football we do. like the last year's game.
Last year was great.
Right, it was like crazy twists and turns and
so boring to me, but that's just me.
Yeah, but but that's like watching a good wrestling match, and if you're not a wrestling fan, you're not going to appreciate it. Last year's Super Bowl was fucking Macho Man Ricky Steamboat, and this year was Brooklyn Brawler against Barry Horowitz. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's so funny.
But anyway, yes, Halftime Heat was. First of all, I loved that it was live because I had the halftime show up because I wasn't going to change the channel on my TV. I'm lazy, and I had my my tablet or whatever. I was watching Halftime Heat, but you could tell at one point towards the end of the match, they were waiting. They wanted to know when the halftime show ended, so then they could go home. So then I saw on the TV that the halftime show ended, and then boom, boom, they went home. 1, 2, 3, and went right in. It was all really well timed out and well done. I thought they were going to pre-tape it, but they did it live, and it was very cool.
And on commentary, they made mention that these are like the 6 best guys in NXT. I'm like, actually, I think that's a pretty valid argument.
Might be, man. I mean, unless you're including the rest of the Undisputed Era and the War Raiders, yeah, you got the top 6 guys, I think.
Oh, 100%.
I think, I mean, the other thing is they're calling this the International Superstar Shakeup. So maybe we can expect a guy like Aleister Black, who is a foreigner, to the United States or any of the NXT UK people. I don't know. The thing that would bug me is if they just called it the International Superstar Shakeup and didn't have only right. I think it's international only because it's in Canada, but it would be more international if they had more international superstars.
Where in Canada is this?
I don't know, but then you can go and you can say you were there live. But halftime Shawn Michaels is good at this whole commentary. I feel like it doesn't matter what you tell Shawn Michaels to do, he's going to be good at it.
Yeah.
But he was really good at commentary. He put those guys over. He put over Dream like really big. So overall, I mean, for a quick segment like that, that's not a full show. It was produced very well, and I mean those 6 guys all wrestled their asses off.
Oh yeah, no, it was very well done. I was very impressed.
I liked the spot with all 3 of the baby faces.
Montreal.
What was that?
In stupid Montreal.
I didn't realize there was inter-Canadian feuds like that.
Yeah. Montreal is Canada.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to secede at one point. I remember that. I like that spot with the fake out dives, the 3 dives, and then the baby faces all did their own pose. Like Aleister Black was cross-legged and Ricochet did his super Spider-Man thing, and then of course Velveteen Dream does his overly complicated jump over the top rope and flip and then go on your back and do this back roll, and it just lands. That was great. That whole segment was great. I hope they continue to do it next year.
Yeah.
Maybe not even using NXT, but
yep, we lost Eric. He'll be back. But yeah, I think it would be nice if I don't know what other events on US television that they could do this kind of thing for.
No, I'm saying do the Super Bowl halftime, but use maybe the main roster.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like throughout the year. I'm trying to think of different things that they could do, but it's like there's no real break during the All-Star game, like the baseball All-Star game. There's no break in the World Series. Like,
no,
there's nothing, like you can't do it during like the Academy Awards. There's no 15-minute musical break where you could just go have a wrestling match. Like I was trying to think of other things where they could just do
Cup, maybe.
Oh, maybe like because they've got intermissions in between. So I just think it would be a cool thing to like, hey,
NBA halftime.
Yeah. Oh, maybe during the NBA championship do a halftime or the All-Star game. That could work.
Yeah.
But just like little things like that where you don't have to necessarily have a full wrestling show, but you're going to have a match that streams on YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff to try and get people watching during a day where they're already they're already going to have their TV on or their things, their device streaming. So try and get a piece of that.
Might as well.
Right? Capitalize.
Yeah, but I don't know where they would
plug that in.
You know, what kind of other events they could do that for. But I did enjoy it. I think it would I don't know what to say about those guys. All of those guys, you could take one of them, you could take 6 of them. You could put them up on the main roster and throw them into a feud for the US title or the Intercontinental title or whatever, and they'd fit right in without a question.
I love Aleister Black.
I really hope that they don't turn him into like somebody who just loves to have fun and dances like with Brodus Clay. Like that's my fear is that one day he's just going to be in like the fucking conga line for No Way Jose.
Oh.
Like I just don't know. I don't know if they understand what is unique about Aleister Black once he gets to the main roster.
Well, they could technically have a Undertaker and Kane with Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt.
Oh my god, just the spooky guys.
It's better than how they do Bray.
I got to be honest. I really truly believe that now that you have even Shawn Michaels involved in NXT and this and that when somebody like Aleister Black gets called to the main roster, that Michaels is going to have some influence on Vince McMahon along with Triple H and say, listen, this is the way it's got to go down. This is the way he has to be because this is what really works. You know what I mean? Alistair, based on the look, the way he wrestles, the entrance, it just all works. That's one guy that you got to keep the way he is there, the way that he needs to be on Raw or SmackDown. And it needs to happen sooner than later. Like, what's the delay now? You know, there's we talk about those 6. As far as I'm concerned, you can call all 6 up right now, put them in the mix, just like you said. There's plenty of people in NXT to fill those shoes. So let's make the move. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they are talking about doing another shakeup, because that's going to be the opportunity to draft them.
Yeah, I think at least 2 of those guys are probably going to go up. They might not bring Dream up right away, which is fine because he's such a young guy.
Right now, you got to bring up Ricochet, Cole. But see, with Cole, do you bring him up or do you wait and bring up the whole era together? Which I think that's really the way you got to do it.
You have to bring up the whole era.
Yeah,
like it would almost work if they didn't get called up on the shakeup, and their response to it was, a little reminiscent of Edge with Kofi at the Elimination Chamber, only this time as somebody's walking into the chamber, the Undisputed Era as a group jumps them and holds the guy back so Adam Cole can run into the ring and get into the pod.
That would be awesome.
It would be, but would they invest such a big spot like that on a guy that realistically not everybody knows? Like, the people who watch NXT and the wrestling fans who watch other wrestling know, but does your average WWE fan who watches on Monday or Tuesday nights know Adam Cole?
Good point.
I don't know, man. I mean, Adam Cole was very well known prior to going into the WWE too. So outside of the young kids, the true fans that watch everything, they know who Adam Cole is. You know what I mean? So
maybe that would be a good opportunity. I'm just trying to think of things that they can do for these guys that will prevent.
After he jumps in, you can make a playlist on the network of his big matches.
That's true. But I'm just trying to think of things that will prevent like people that are being called up from being like Sanity, where you haven't heard from them, and literally nothing is happening with those guys. Literally nothing.
Which is a shame.
It is, because like Eric Young wasted so much, and I don't want to say wasted because I mean he was getting paid and he was a big star in TNA for a long time.
He did well in TNA.
He did very well for himself, and his reward was getting picked up by the WWE and eventually working his way to the main roster. And now that's gone. Not gone, but like, what the fuck are they doing? And like Killian Dane, like they're being very expressive with their feelings too now on social media. Yes, they are.
Which isn't going to help them at all.
No.
Yeah, but what else can they do though? Like, buy their time and then just be nothing? Like,
Eric, I'm not saying that they're wrong to forget.
That's why I'm glad AEW is a thing now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, squeaky wheel gets the grease, so maybe they figure if they make some noise.
Honestly, I don't trust them with any of those guys from coming up from NXT.
Well, no, I feel like they stopped caring about Killian Dane once they saw fucking War Raiders. Once they realized that they had 2 other guys that can do that thing. And not that he's bad. He's very good. And when I was in Orlando for WrestleMania, as soon as he got in the ring, the entire crowd decided that he was the one that they wanted to win that Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And of course they did the whole thing with Gronk and Mojo. But he's got a unique look. And rather than being the big, tough, hairy guy with a beard, he was kind of like more of a baby face. And he was like kind of happy, chunky guy with a beard. And like they got behind that because he wasn't, look at me, I'm mean. Like he just had this personality that people liked. And that got him over with that at least the part of the crowd I was in, they all wanted him to win. And when he got eliminated, they weren't happy about it. So they have something there with that guy and with, who is it, Alexander Wolf? I don't even know who the other guy in Sanity is. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. But like, they had that great War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
They get rewarded by being called up, and it's almost like being punished because now It's nothing.
You know what it is? I think a lot of times they just don't have a plan for these people that they call up. They just call them up just to have a warm body.
Yeah.
And they don't have a plan.
You're not wrong. And then, the writers just can't figure out what to do with them. But I feel like
they can, but Vince McMahon changes his fucking mind every 2 seconds.
Well, right. Because, Sanity, similar to Bray Wyatt, should be very easy to write for.
Should be.
Yeah, they're just like a crazy version of the Shield. They walk through the stands and they create chaos and then they leave. Like, it would be so easy. Instead, what kills a group like Sanity is playing their music and playing their Titantron, and they walk through the curtain, down the ramp, like a wrestler would.
Yeah.
These guys are supposed to be insane people. Have them come out from under the ring one night, or have them come out from the stands, or think of different wacky ways that they can do things because they're creating chaos.
Or have them be the cameraman and just...
Yes! Oh, I was going to go even weirder. They should cut back from commercial, and all of Sanity should be wearing what the commentators were wearing, sitting at the table. And
that'd be hilarious.
And not mention it, wear the exact same jacket, and just start, and then they're plugging up next on SmackDown. Like Eric Young is talking about the next match that's going to happen, and then when the entrances happen, they just get up and start fucking people up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. It gets
It'd be even funny if they had them dressed as JR and the King.
JR the King, and one of them's Taz, or like 90s Michael Cole with the frosted hair. I would be okay with that. Oh, we should get some questions, huh? Do we have questions?
Oh, it's about that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed listen, there's quite a bit to talk about. But we'll handle the fan questions. If you have a fan question, you can go on Amanda's Instagram, and that seems to be the place that most people ask questions.
Go-to place.
Yeah. Go figure. Hot blonde girl gets all the questions rather than a bunch of schlubby guys. But you can use @TagMeADate, #AskTheWarReport on social media, or AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. And you'll be entered into our monthly pay-per-view Pick'em contest, where you will get a WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view Pick'em entry for free just by asking a question. So by asking the question, you're entered into the drawing. By the end of the month, we pull a name and we email you. You get your free WrestleRumble.com Pick'em. Here's the thing. If you don't want to enter and ask a question, you can still go to WrestleRumble.com and you can pay for an entry. As little as $5 gets you in. And you can win some cool prizes. I don't know what is on deck for this month, but I know in general, it's usually like a ticket to a show, or like a title belt, or
ton of money,
cash, merchandise, like different T-shirts or prints or pins or all kinds of stuff. So anyway, WrestleRumble.com. What do we have for questions today?
Hold on one second.
I know one of them is like the age-old wrestling question of like the chicken or the egg.
Mm-hmm.
We could have, again, that's another one where what the fuck happened with Dolph Ziggler? We could spend a whole hour on, at least. This is another question that we could spend a whole bunch of time on.
So one question was, who screwed Brett?
There it is.
Brett screwed Brett.
I don't know if we have time to get into this.
I don't think we do. I mean,
we would need a whole show for that.
I know, it would be a whole show. What's up?
Who is Lady Beast? Because she is playing Sea of Thieves right now.
Oh, Lady Beast? Some random.
It's an Xbox friend, I'm sure.
To call it a friend would be.
Well, yeah, but it's a friends list or whatever.
Yeah.
Brett, it would have had to be it would have to be a very, very well kept secret in a business where there aren't a lot of very well kept secrets to keep it from Brett. Especially when you look at if Vince knew, and at the time the writing team was Cornette knew, Russo knew, Pat Patterson knew. Right. Patterson knew, Triple H knew, Shawn knew, which means China knew. I don't know. Hebner knew. This is a dozen people knew this was going to happen. You wouldn't think one of them say, hey, by the way, they're going to fuck you tonight. And then just like whisper it to him and keep walking. Nobody said anything. Nobody. 10 guys. Come on. Somebody has loose lips. You think Vince Russo wouldn't have said some shit? Anyway, not to get into conspiracy theory territory, because according to everything that's been put out, Brett didn't know.
Yeah.
I truly believe Brett didn't know. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew. I don't think he would have gone out there and put himself in that situation if he knew. I really don't.
But the other thing is, his dad was in the business for so long, and he was in the business for so long, that even if he didn't know, and this is a point that I think Jim Cornette made, if he didn't know, he should have assumed that was going to happen. Because they're not going to let you not drop the title on your way out. That's just the way, like, you have to put somebody over. And if that's how they were going to do it, that's how they're going to do it. I liked the idea, and I don't know how this would have worked, but I liked when Cornette said one of the propositions was Ken Shamrock would beat Brett for the title. And that changes Ken Shamrock's whole career.
Yeah.
If he wins the title. Even if it is for one night and then the next night he challenges Shawn and Shawn super kicks him into the 5th row. Like, he still won the world title and still defended it. Yeah. And he was beaten by the best in the world, Shawn Michaels. You can't feel bad about losing. You cannot feel bad about losing to Shawn Michaels. He's literally the best in the world.
Yeah.
And Brett had said that he would have been okay with dropping it to like Foley or something.
Yeah, or just
or Austin.
Not in Canada was the big thing, because he's like
not in Canada and not to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, those are his two things, and like
he's the Canadian superhero.
Right, but the show was in Canada and he was scheduled to wrestle Shawn Michaels, so they were kind of in a spot.
Yeah,
like I don't know what.
But this is something that, like, looking back, it had to happen. Because it changed the wrestling landscape. The Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon character kind of
everything came
sprouted from this. And Austin was on his way anyway. But
Eric is 100%. It's something that it sucks, but it had to be done. Brett, you're right. Brett, it had to be done.
Do you really think Bret Hart? Then this just imagine you owned a company. Bret Hart on his way out doesn't want to put over the other big top guy at your company. But the next night on Raw, he wants to come out, cut a promo, leave the belt in the ring, and quit. Mm-hmm. That does nothing for nobody.
Yeah. Right.
I understand Bret's thinking, but at the same time, he had to know he had to put somebody over on the way out.
I don't really completely understand Bret's thinking with his background in wrestling.
Right. That's why the whole thing, there's always that speculation over the top of it. Did he know? Was this some kind of like meta thing where he's pretended for all these years to not know? Because it just seems like all the pieces were in place where he should have, if he didn't know, he just should have. There were enough clues. He should have known. It's a great topic, and like I said, we could spend forever on it. Parallels, since we're bringing up Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon didn't want Stone Cold Steve Austin competing because of his neck, and he wanted Stone Cold to go and get a physical before he could wrestle. And Stone Cold would then run through the stands and interfere in Owen Hart's matches because he didn't give a shit about getting a physical. He wanted to get in the ring and wrestle Owen Hart.
He wanted to get physical.
Right. He wanted to get back at Owen for injuring his neck in the first place. And now we've got Stephanie McMahon in the role of Mr. McMahon and Becky Lynch. And they basically redid a storyline from 19 years ago on Monday Night Raw. Only this time it was like so weird because Steph, you kind of saw Steph's point. Like, yeah, maybe you should go see a doctor if your knee hurts. But at the same time, WrestleMania is 2 months away. If your knee hurts in February, it doesn't mean your knee's going to hurt in April.
Yeah.
Like shit. I mean, that's just common sense. You're going to feel better in April than you are in February.
The timing wasn't done well.
It was kind of weird. And then
I think they just need a way for them not to touch until Mania. And that's important.
Right. But then Becky's like, I'm not going to be responsible for my actions. Haiti day. And then she like, I get it, and the crowd liked it, but at the same time, I was like, what is this? Like, we couldn't find a different way to get heat on Stephanie. Like, it just seemed too.
Was it really heat on Stephanie? Because, like you said,
know.
she made a decent point.
That was the whole thing. The heels aren't supposed to make good points. She's supposed to be like trying to screw her over. Anyway, we're getting too far away from the point of questions. But we needed to. I'm glad we addressed it because it did happen on Raw last night. We needed to refresh Eric's memory.
Good time.
Raw is bore.
Raw is bore. All right, Amanda. What's the next question?
Hold on.
If we have one.
We have all the questions.
Do some non-wrestling related ones.
What is it about Xena?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my best friend. So when I was in elementary school, I had one of those satellite cards, and I was able to get all the wrestling pay-per-views. So all the guys come to my house and watch, right? So she's like, I want to come watch it, but she doesn't watch wrestling, but she just wants to be around all the boys.
Yeah.
Comes and then chimes out, and she's like, I didn't know that Xena was a wrestler.
Oh dear.
And
That's funny.
That's pretty great.
I used to watch that show.
Yeah, I watched it once or twice.
And you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to if back in the day, if Xena and like Hercules, since those two shows were to get like if Kevin Sorbo and what's her face from Xena, Lucy Law, if they both showed up on Raw or WCW, that would be a WCW thing for sure.
Yeah. So she looked like she could throw down with the women.
Oh, she was, yeah, absolutely. I think she could have done a good job. So now we know.
Would be a great wrestling, character.
Yeah, I think that's like Ember Moon before, like Ember Moon when she was Athena was probably more like Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah. But it would be interesting to see somebody just kind of do a straight ripoff of Xena Warrior Princess.
We had Zeus for a while there in WWF.
Yeah, and I mean that was the actual Zeus from the movie.
Yeah.
But it would be I'm okay with, some people don't like that stars or celebrities come in and like take spots from other wrestlers. Stephen Amell did great. I'd bring him back. I don't give a shit. Like as long as like even Floyd Mayweather did good. He did a good match with the Big Show. The whole angle was hot. And
Lawrence Taylor.
Seth Green did all right for
and as long as they're willing to put the work in and make it look good, I have no problem with it. If they're just out there to make a joke out of it, it's a whole different story.
Or like Rev Sharpton just came out there, cut a horrible promo and left.
Yeah, like some written thing, and then that's it. But no, I like it when somebody comes out and makes it a real segment, actually tries. That's fine. Yeah. If they're out there just plugging their shit and leaving, I don't like that. I like that Paige came back and everybody was so excited to see Paige. And then she's like, hi, Paige here. Watch my movie. It's like, oh, I thought she was going to make an announcement about like the women's tag titles, or they made her
anything
general manager of the women's division or something.
It would be nice for her to plug the tag match and then be like, oh boy, check out my movie.
Right, yeah. She literally only came out to say, look at the big screen and watch my movie. She said nothing else. And it didn't make any sense. Anyway, continue. Do we have any other questions, Amanda?
Yes. I don't really get this one. Will Samoa Joe be hosting another Circle Time with guys in the Elimination Chamber?
I think he was mentioning where he came down and just cut a promo on everybody.
Oh, and like destroyed everyone.
Yeah, just verbally destroyed everybody.
I mean,
that is a great mix. That is a great mix of talent for that match. I'm excited about that match.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that promo was great by Joe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, always.
I love Orton ducking after that. Wasn't it at Jeff Hardy?
That one about make like an AA meeting, wait your turn to talk or whatever it was. I was like, oh no, that's just oof. That hits you in the chest. That was a good.
Orton always had good reactions like that, though.
Yeah, Randy Orton has great like background reactions when you watch him. Remember that set? What was it? A couple months ago was the Evolution segment.
Yeah.
And there was that one point where he looked like he was going to RKO somebody. Like the whole time, he was like, "Oh, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?" And he didn't do it.
Is it going to come out of nowhere? Oh no!
He stood there, like reminded me of like Arn Anderson used to do shit like that. Like stand in the background and give somebody the stink eye, and then is he going to do something? And it turns out he didn't, but it was just to like keep you on your toes.
Good way of doing it, though.
Yeah. So Elimination Chamber is coming up, and I mean Samoa Joe. Listen, I don't know if it's the injuries. I don't know if it's because he's a little older than everybody else, but they're not pulling the trigger on this guy. And if there's anybody
not to.
On SmackDown right now, because they're saying AJ Styles has like a hernia and he needs time off. Samoa Joe
is your guy.
He's the guy. He's hot right now. I mean, he's been hot for the last like year and a half, but he's the guy that I think you could put the belt on for a little while, get some mileage out of it. I'm not saying he has to be a champion for a year and a half like AJ Styles was, but I mean, give the guy a shot. For fuck's sake. He invaded AJ Styles' house and couldn't win a match. Like, how many different things did he need to bring a gun like Pillman did? Like, I just don't understand what he needed to do to win anything in that feud.
I'm still shocked that they never gave it to him.
Yeah,
I really felt somewhere in there.
With how personal.
Yeah, because it was set up for him to like steal the title from AJ. So then he's taken the family from AJ and his wife and his children and his title, and AJ's at the rock bottom, and then makes a comeback and beats Joe and takes his title back. Like that's, I think they call
couple months down the line and have Joe have a nice title reign.
Right, instead of 2 feuds in a row being like the Nakamura feud and then the Joe feud. There was just so much more they could have done with both of those feuds.
Yeah.
And either one of them would have benefited from a title change to keep it fresh.
Both.
Because otherwise, right, both of them could have been. Because, I mean, think about it. Nakamura kicked AJ Styles in the dick how many times? And he didn't win a title out of it? Ric Flair would do it once and then hold the tights and then he'd win.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand. AJ's poor balls got beat up for nothing.
Yeah, let's put it this way: he isn't having kids after this year.
Yeah, well, he's already got 4. He's good.
Anyway.
God, him and Phillip Rivers from the NFL are having a contest to see who can have more babies. Christ, Phillip Rivers, I think, has like 9 kids. He's a quarterback.
Flavor Flav has them beat.
Flavor Flav has kids he doesn't even know about. There are little kids over in the Philippines.
The fact that someone breeded with him is kind of.
Well, that show always got me. The Flavor or him and not the contest, the dating show, but the one with him and the fucking big broad from Rocky IV. That cracked me up because I'm like, what does she do?
Hilarious.
He's pocket sized, and she's like 2 women tall. I don't know how that relationship worked out. I mean,
Charlotte and Leo Rush.
Can we do that? Are we allowed? Can the WWE do that? I would be okay with that. Put them together. Why not? Do we have any more questions? Oh God, we're getting towards the top of the hour. It's almost 8 o'clock. But if we have any more questions,
Rivers has 7 kids.
Rivers has 7 kids. Wow, jeez, 4 more. He's got one full side of a football team. Be 11, an even 11. Amanda, any other questions?
No.
All right, excellent. So remember, if you have a question, it's at Tag Me a Date on social media, hashtag AskTheWarReport or AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. Bossman, is there anything we need to go over for the fine folks at home?
The apps are coming. We made the announcement. We've been playing the commercial all over social media, so spread the word, share the posts, and tell your friends. But WrestleMania weekend, Apple Android apps are coming. Take Tag Me a Date mobile. So we're very excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need to get little things, like a stack of like cards.
Business cards?
Yeah, with like a QR code on it, so you can go right to the link. Like if you,
I know what you're saying now.
Like just things, something to hand out to people.
At
Like,
Mania,
this-
just
yeah, right.
start handing them out like
New York,
candy.
New Jersey. Are you a wrestling fan? Here, you're wearing a Bullet Club shirt. You're not getting laid. Go to Tag Me a Date.
Word. Exactly. Sounds good. Let's do it up.
Although I do recommend if you're going to WrestleMania weekend, wear a Bullet Club shirt. Because
If you hand me one, I'm gonna hit you.
No, I'm just saying, like last year when I was in New Orleans, if you wore a Bullet Club shirt, everybody else was. So you just walk down the street and you're just too sweet a stranger, and they're walking one way and you're walking the other. They're gonna go get some coffee somewhere. You're just too sweet and keep walking. It was great. It was a whole city full of Bullet Club fans.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. So
wrestling brings people together.
it really does. So this year we will have a presence at WrestleMania.
I did that at Cedar Point during opening day. Ran
Thanks
into
for rubbing it in.
And Steve, isn't that our whole concept is bringing wrestling fans together?
That's it.
That's right.
100%.
Just like the Young Bucks, we're going to change the world. Well, I don't know. They're aiming a little higher than us. We just want to get wrestling fans laid.
We
Exactly.
want to produce more wrestling fans.
We are like the Make-A-Wish for adult wrestling fans. Right?
One of our unions could create another superstar that could.
You
change
never
the
know.
wrestling
That's
world.
true. If we get two fans together and they start a family, that little baby boy or girl could wind up being a WWE champion one day. All because
Or
they
AEW
signed up for that
champion.
app. You
Because
don't
of us.
know. Your kid could be the next Shawn Michaels if you go to tagmeadate.com.
Mhm.
Wow, that would be a heck of a marketing thing. Your kid will be Shawn Michaels. But anyway, you should sign up. It's free. Tagmeadate.com is until we have premium features that we will charge for it, is absolutely free to sign up. Free to send messages, free to post updates. It's a social media platform. It's just like Facebook or anything else. You can tag people in posts or post things to your wall or post things to their wall or send them a message. Search for them by location, search by favorite wrestler or favorite manager, favorite pay-per-view, all kinds of stuff. It's free. That's all I can say, man. Tagmeadate.com. If you're looking for somebody who's a wrestling fan, this is the site for you. You will find your tag team partner on tagmeadate.com, and the apps are coming WrestleMania weekend. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, if you're already here, you probably already know this, but you should follow us here, or subscribe rather, on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Up in the search bar, you type Tag Me a Date, Tag Me a Date. It's all one word. There are no spaces. You can go to the Tag Me a Date channel where you can click the subscribe button, click the bell so you can get an alert when we go live or upload a video. And if you subscribe on YouTube, why not go over to Instagram and Twitter and give us a follow? It's also at Tag Me a Date. And we will post updates on those social media platforms as well. Excuse me, I got the burps right now. I just drank a bunch of soda. But you should check us out next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, because we're going to have another edition of The War Report right here on YouTube. So again, if you subscribe to YouTube, you'll already know it's coming up because you've subscribed and hit the bell. Otherwise, come right back here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Adjust the hours depending on where you live. So we will see you next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of The War Report. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.